Hey, what's going on, guys? With Maverick here. Yeah, this week I didn't have a lot of time to make something, and I didn't have any good ideas, to be honest. I'm still a little sick too. So I came up with something small. I'm gonna take the Comanche for a spin on the Palms Desert map, which is an ArmA 2 map. It's like the USMC training facility located in Southern California, as far as I know. It's a pretty sweet map. It was made for ArmA 2. Unfortunately, it has not been ported over to ArmA 3 yet. But if you run the all-in ArmA mod, you can actually play on this map as well. So I'm gonna fly over to what is somewhat of an AO and try to engage targets tactically. So as you do it with a gunship, using the environment as concealment and cover, and then use pop-up tactics to engage vehicles while avoiding being walked on, fired on by AA missiles. Because it's an ArmA 2 map with lower detail objects and whatnot, as well as generally desert map, which always has a better frame rate than a woodland one. You can actually increase the view distance quite a bit. So I'm going to increase to maybe 5 clicks or so, 6 clicks, to actually detect targets earlier. When flying a gunship, I usually try to fly fast and low, so somewhere around 230 kilometers per hour, and an altitude of something between 10 and maybe 40 meters. In hilly terrain like here, obviously you have to be careful to maintain the proper altitude, to not crash into things. You got to keep your eyes open for trees and power lines and such obstacles. But yeah, that takes some routine, especially when you change the aircraft occasionally. They don't always respond the same way if you increase thrust and whatnot. Some getting used to. You need some practice, but it's definitely the safest way to travel. Flying low, fast, and using the environment as concealment and cover is it's good against AA missiles, so it's hard for enemies to lock onto you. But on the other hand, flying low makes you vulnerable to all sorts of machine gun fire. So 50 cal on the ground, or a machine gun mounted on a vehicle or so, is definitely a threat. So depending on the recon you've done or the intel you've received, you should then choose basically your tactics. If there are anti-air missile threats around, it's better to fly low. But on the other hand, if you're fighting enemies with low-tech gear, maybe 50 cals and some technicals instead of AA missiles, then you better fly high to avoid being hit by them accurately. Alright, I'm coming up on the first attack position. So what I do here is I'm going to go into a hover behind this small hill, and then I'm going to increase thrust a bit, just to get to lift the helicopter and basically be able to look over it. And then I'm going to try to acquire some targets and engage, obviously. And as soon as I get locked on by an enemy missile, I just decrease thrust and hide behind this hill. And even if a missile is fired at me, it's going to hit the hill instead of one helicopter. So let's try to attack some targets. The AO is in front of me there. Picked up an air vehicle on the radar. Apparently a enemy transport helicopter, small one. There's some sort of vehicle over there. It looks as if it's just taken off now, so I'm going to fire an AA missile at it. And that looked like a hit. It's going down. Alright, that's the first kill of the day. Switching to the Dagger air-to-ground missiles, picking up the truck. I'm going to try it with the gun. I'm not exactly sure how far away I am. Don't see anything in the gun view. Might be too far. I'm using the AGM mod, which results in the view changes of the HUD. For example, I do not have a range indicator on the grid box, on the target box, and also the name of the vehicles are changed into the real names instead of the VIS placeholders. So gun doesn't seem to work. The gunner, even though I do have a gunner, he just shoots straight, so he doesn't really detect the target apparently. Missile away. sure if that was a hit. Problem with those tactics is that I'm engaging a very flat angle, and therefore, yeah, just a simple tree or a building or anything will block the missile from hitting its target. That was a hit though, so that truck is destroyed. I'm scanning for more targets. So the higher you are actually with the helicopter, the better are your chances to hit something. But that's not a real tactic really, that's the problem with the game engine. In real life, most Hellfire types have a high flight path, or maybe you can even choose it, if fly medium or low flight path. So when you shoot the missile, it goes, well, not straight up, but it goes up quite a bit, and then moves over the target and dives down and basically hits the target from the top. And with the ArmA missiles here, that's just not happening. They go straight towards the target. One small obstacle in the way, and you won't be able to hit anything. But in real life, missiles, they're deployed from a helicopter. They go forward, upwards, basically over the target, and then they dive down and hit the target from the top. So especially armored vehicles, tanks and whatnot, they have they're rather weak sometimes on the top, and therefore it's the most vulnerable spot, the most effective one with air-to-ground missiles. So I wasn't able to acquire any more targets from the first attack position, so what I do is basically move into another one. I'm going to do a counterclockwise sweep, basically, going cover to cover, trying to detect and engage vehicles, and if I don't have any more, I go to the next cover. But there's a Tigris anti-air, a AAA armored anti-air. I was able to take that out before it shot at me, but I'm getting locked on now, so there's probably some man pads on the ground as well, because I do not detect any more vehicles at this point. But yeah, there might be infantry with portable AA launchers. But as long as I stay behind this hill here, I'm very well protected. Even if I get locked on, I can still try to find targets, and as soon as I get the actual missile warning, that's when I'm gonna decrease thrust and hide behind the hill. Picking up an artillery howitzer, as it seems. Just driving around there. The reason why I'm shooting two missiles is that the dagger missiles on this aircraft here and this helicopter are pretty fucking weak. It's almost impossible to destroy a tank or heavy armored vehicle with just one dagger for some reason. No problem against trucks, maybe Ifrits and things, but if you engage a heavy armored vehicle, one missile is not enough. That Scorcher is very resistant there. It seems to be driving around, and therefore most of those missiles are probably going to hit buildings and whatnot. Again, because of the attack angle of the missile, which is unfortunate. Probably going to have to change position again. So, okay, that second missile hit actually the hill in front of me. There don't seem to be any machine guns around, but yeah, I'm also still pretty far away. It's at least 2 clicks. I'm gonna change cover again. I don't seem to be able to hit that target from here. So there's another few hills on my right. As I said, counterclockwise change of positions. Here important, fly low. Whenever possible, yeah, now I'm exposing myself, obviously. And they're already shooting at me, so I got missiles inbound. Fortunately, I do have some flares, but it would also have been possible to, yeah, basically just turn around 180 degrees and fly away, having that hill still behind me as my cover, you know, between the hill, having the hill between me and the AO, flying away and going, yeah, basically for a further turn, a longer turn, and then approach the new cover here from behind. Worked out, got the flares, unfortunately. So I'm in a new attack position, same tactics, go in a stable hover, and then increase thrust, scan for targets, engage. Still have that scorcher there, so the howitzer, and I picked up something else which looked like an Ifrit. So Ifrits and trucks, usually I don't waste missiles on. Try to hit them with the guns once any other missile threat is disabled. But yeah, they're a bit too far out now. That was a solid hit there on that vehicle. But there's still that freaking Scorcher, which is, yeah, it's driving around quite a bit. And they also still get locked on. Probably still some portable AA launchers around. Right. We have a lot of daggers here, but yeah, it's just 70mm. It's nothing compared to a Hellfire. Probably gonna have to change cover again. There's somewhat of a ditch on the right side there, leading to this AO. So maybe I can even get down in that ditch and go, yeah, somewhat close. Maybe do some damage with the gun. Oh, it's being locked on. What I usually do is I use those tactics as shown here to take out vehicles. Oh fuck, my sound gun. It's not good. Yeah, I use those tactics to engage vehicles, and then once that is done, I fly circles in about 500 meters altitude around the AO and engage with the guns. Oh man, there's a lot of missiles. I'm probably not gonna make that. Fuck yeah, I'm hit. And because I'm flying very low and fast, this is a hard landing. Well, shit happens. Fortunately, it's just a game. I hope the video was still somewhat entertaining and maybe you even learned something. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm out. Bye bye. Guys, with Maverick here. Yeah, this week I didn't have a lot of time to make something, and I didn't have any good ideas, to be honest. I'm still a little sick too, so I came up with something small. I'm gonna take out the Comanche for a spin on the Palm Desert map, while avoiding being locked on, fired on by AA missiles. Because it's an ArmA 2 map with lower detail objects and whatnot, as well as generally desert map, which always has a better frame rate than a woodland one. You can actually increase the view, which is an ArmA 2 map. It's like the USMC training facility located in Southern California, as far as I know. It's a pretty sweet map. It was made for ArmA 2. Unfortunately, it has not been ported over to ArmA 3 yet, but if you run the all-in ArmA mod, you what's going on can actually play on this map as well. So I'm gonna fly over to what is somewhat of an AO and try to engage targets tactically. So as you do it with a gunship, using the environment as concealment and cover, and then use pop-up tactics to engage vehicles.